and SpaceX have postponed the Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station due to a last-minute technical problem. The mission, initially set to replace the current crew aboard the International Space Station, was expected to bring NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams back to Earth after a 9-month stay in space. The delay comes after a technical glitch at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Wilmore and Williams had been stranded aboard the ISS after Boeing's Starliner spacecraft encountered propulsion system failures. The mission's rescheduled timeline is still uncertain, but NASA and SpaceX might attempt a launch in the next few days. To Australia, and former Test cricketer Stuart MacGill was found guilty of being involved in the supply of cocaine, according to local media. Police said the retired leg spinner introduced his personal cocaine dealer to an associate in 2021. The two then arranged a $200,000 drug deal, police allege. Although MacGill did not take part in the actual transaction, a jury found him guilty of knowingly participating in the supply of a prohibited drug, according to media reports. However, the 54-year-old was cleared of a more serious charge of taking part in commercial-scale drug supply. MacGill played 44 tests for Australia between 1998 and 2008. His career coincided with that of Shane Warne, often considered the greatest spin bowler of all time. Moving to Africa, and Somali security forces on Wednesday ended a 24-hour siege at a hotel in the central city of Beledweyne, leaving several people dead, including the Al-Shabaab militants who launched the attack, officials have said. The attack began when a car bomb exploded on Tuesday at the Cairo Hotel, which houses traditional elders and military officers involved in coordinating the government's offensive against Al-Shabaab. The mayor of Beledweyne, Omar Alassal, on Wednesday said security forces had successfully ended the siege and that 6 Al-Shabaab militants died. Reports are still unclear about how many civilians were killed in the attack. Al-Shabaab, which opposes Somalia's federal government, frequently carries out bombings and assaults targeting government officials and military personnel in the Horn of Africa nation. The group controls part of rural Somalia and poses a significant threat despite sustained military operations by government troops and African Union peacekeepers. Here is what a government soldier had to say about the siege. Staying in the continent, and the African Union's Peace and Security Council has rejected Sudan's Rapid Support Forces declaration of a parallel government. The Union has warned that it threatens Sudan's unity. The Peace and Security Council has also urged AU members and the international community not to recognise or support any such entity. This comes after the RSF and some 18 other allied movements signed a charter in Nairobi establishing a government of peace and unity. The AU reaffirmed its commitment to Sudan's sovereignty and urged peaceful negotiations as the ongoing conflict has killed thousands and displaced millions since April 2023. Sudan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed the Council's position, saying it reflects the principles of Pan-Africanism. China has called for dialogue with the United States to address escalating trade tensions that have led both nations to impose significant tariffs on each other's imports. In a statement from Yongqian, a spokeswoman for China's Ministry of Commerce, Beijing emphasised that communication should be grounded in mutual respect, equality and benefit. She urged against the use of threats and intimidation, which she said would be counterproductive. This comes after the global trade tensions that have started since US President Donald Trump's tariffs have taken place. This is what the Commerce Ministry spokesperson had to say.
任何形式的沟通和磋商都必须建立在相互尊重、平等互利的基础上，威胁、要挟只能适得其反。希望美方 和中方一道，本着相互尊重、和平共处、合作共赢的原则，回到通过对话协商来解决问题的正确轨道。
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump said his tariff plan will restore fairness to US trade as major partners like the EU and Canada announce countermeasures on new US tariffs on steel and aluminium. Here is what the President of European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, had to say. Let's listen in.
Countermeasures will be introduced in 2 steps, starting with April 1st and fully in place as of April 13th. In the meantime, we will always remain open to negotiations. We firmly believe that in a world fraught with geo-economic and political uncertainties, it is not in our common interest to burden our economies with such tariffs.
Trump has also promised that the United States would respond to retaliatory EU tariffs that are being imposed from April the 1st on $28 billion worth of US products. Additionally, Canada announced additional levies on $20.7 billion of American products. President Donald Trump expressed confidence that the United States will win a trade war with the European Union. However, many companies are already feeling the strain and have taken countermeasures, like taking decisions to shift supply chains to the US. Sectors from sportswear to luxury goods in Europe are bracing for impact as tariffs drive up costs and stir concerns about inflation and a potential US recession. Meanwhile, countries like the UK and Australia have expressed their willingness for dialogue.